We are recording right now, just
All right.
letting everybody know.
All right, so we got the Galaxy and the phone number did you message them?
I did. I'll let the phone number in and we'll let them speak their turn. Hey, the phone number 140471735554. Can you please identify yourself?
I think I'm on hold.
What's your address? Just so we know what household you belong to.
Gotcha. 1856.
One more time.
1856 Challenger.
1856 Challenger. Oh, they're my neighbors.
I'm your neighbor.
Hi.
All right, well, the Galaxy is the only one that's hanging out there. All right, well, Riley, I'm gonna let you keep an eyeball on the waiting room and Galaxy and see if they respond. And then we'll get the show on the road. I just gotta close my window. The road noise, it's rush hour. All right, so, all right, let's get this show on the road. Let's bring the meeting to order. Only a few minutes behind schedule, but we got the housekeeping out of the way. So welcome to the meeting, everyone. We're gonna buzz through the agenda. There's an option or opportunity at the end for Q&A. So if you have questions that are related to the agenda or anything we discussed, that would be the time to bring it up so that we can have an open discussion about concerns, things on the agenda, and how the community is moving forward. That would be great. Let's go to, and I will share. Hold on, let me get that window open. So the first item on the agenda is going to be the meeting minutes. I think this is them. Yes. So I'm going to make them a little smaller so they fit on the screen a little better. And then I'm going to share. I missed two screens. All right. And I am sharing the Word document here. And so the first order of business will be to approve the minutes from our last meeting in February. And so I won't read through them. There was a pretty straight up meeting last time. We talked about the road and the things that we are going through or had gone through with the builder. So I'll just ask the board to review the meetings as they're written and then vote. I'm letting in Cesar Lopez.
Oh, sorry, mine disappeared on me.
All right, the Galaxy's still out there. So, all right, so the meeting minutes as they are, vote to approve. All in favor?
Yeah, I'll vote to approve.
Me too.
Me too.
All right, so the minutes are approved as they are. We'll move on to the next item. So basically, I did that sort of out of order, but updates. So we filed our taxes. I signed them yesterday with Judy Hamner, and so those are completed. Obviously, there's no financial issue for us as a community other than just paying to have the taxes done and filing with the government. So that's complete. And that is a budget line item now. Our new budget will be presented Next or the meeting after, I will show the current budget shortly. We're not going to have a reserve study. We are, as a community HOA as opposed to a condo HOA, we are, our reserve study is different, but we should do a reserve study every 5 years. So with that being said, we're not doing one this year. We're going to lick our wounds post-COVID here and move on with building our financial resources so that we can then do a proper reserve study, see where we really need to be. Hopefully that will be completed this next year, but it will be no longer than the following year. And there's costs associated with that. It's not a cheap experience, but it's something that we need to have done so we know really where we need to be financially with the items that we're required to maintain, i.e. the retention basin, our mailbox stands, and the fencing that surround the property. And that's mostly at the front and the back, so the non-public fencing. So road maintenance, Riley, I'm going to let you talk about road maintenance and where we ended up, what we did. And so if you want to speak to that, that would be great.
Yeah, so for road maintenance, we, as a board, so we, as you guys know from the last meeting, we ended up getting $9,000 from the battle with the attorneys and the builders. So that was great. We settled on the 9,000 because that was kind of what it was that was all they were gonna give us. So then we had the choice of doing the seal and then also doing a whole covering, which would have been a total of, I think, around $18,000, which we don't really have the money for that right this moment without doing a special assessment, and we don't want to do that, and we don't want to increase dues. So kind of what we as a board decided is that what we're going to do this year is we're going to just do the crack fill. So it'll go through and get everything that we need so far, and it won't. The reason that we decided to do this was because the crack filling will not take up a lot of the road, and we won't have to like section off some of the neighborhood in order for this to get done. They can just come through and do it in a matter of a couple of days. Whereas the full-on extra part would have been a 2-time process. We would have had to block off streets, and we just decided that wasn't the best decision at this moment in time. And the crack seal was only about $3,500, I think, $3,400.
32 here. I'm going to share the bid from Kemp or Camp, sorry. So here is that document. They are by far the cheapest price that we came across. And I talked to the owner, and I can't make it smaller. Let me see if I can go up. There you go there. So as Riley was saying, that doing the 2 seal process would require us to have it done twice, and actually 4 times, because they do half the road, then they wait, they let it cure, and then they come back and they do the other half, and then we get the secondary coat, which is the same process, half and half. So Camp said that basically what we're looking at for our narrow streets, which we're going to talk about shortly, and in the upcoming next meeting, that he was not comfortable sealing a road in that fashion, because if there was a car parked and they hadn't moved it and they're here to seal, he wouldn't be able to seal that part of the street, and that was a problem. Really great contractor to work with and have conversation with, and the recommendations have been amazing with him as far as maintaining the road and keeping the roads healthy, keeping that underlayment that is beneath the asphalt surface where it needs to be under the road, and not drained off because these fissures occur under the roadway. We haven't had it done. The price is certainly affordable. He's the lowest, I think, by $500. And so we're gonna look at moving forward with that. So was there anything more, Riley, you wanted to add to that other than we have $9,000 now in the bank?
Yep, and I think, yeah, I think we were planning on just doing that now, getting the major problems taken care of, and then assessing in the next year of whether to do another crack seal or move forward with whatever the process would be. Yeah.
Okay. So next on the agenda is the annual meeting. So our annual meeting will be in October. We wanted to do it earlier because it would line up with the budget, but at the same time, we also decided that keeping the expenses where they currently are in light of getting the ceiling done, et cetera, would be to our advantage. And so let me throw the budget up. All right, so there's the budget. Let me go back and share. All right, so I'm going to share the budget. I think most everybody, I don't know, I lost you guys. Where'd you go? Bear with me. Nothing like a little technical difficulty with Zoom here. All right, let me go to share. So that being said, we'll do the October meeting, and that will include our budget. What we did realize this time is our current budget had our expectation of what expenses should be. What we have experienced now, I started working on it prior to this meeting in April, and the expenses vary, but the increase doesn't appear to be a great amount. We are banking some money because we foresaw the reserve study on the horizon. And so this line item here, the financial assessment over the next 2 years, that includes some of the costs to help bolster us for the reserve study. And we are going to maintain our current amount through the end of the year. Judy will mail out a couple of items to homeowners before our next meeting, and that will include our next payment stub. If I'm not mistaken, we have one more payment stub in our booklet that was created previously from last year. And so we will have the final stub included with the next mailing from Elite, and that will be take us through to the end of the year, at which time in October we'll vote on the next budget, and we will also vote with the upcoming elections. Da, 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 da. So anybody that is interested, and we'll put something together so everybody can have access to that. If you feel compelled to be part of the process here, we currently have 5 board members. Tara, Kelly, and Judy maintain their positions until the end of 22. Riley and my position, since we are sort of the, lack of a better word, the founding members, our positions come up at the end of the year. So if anybody's interested in having that responsibility, they're welcome to put their names in. That'll come out in the next mailing, but I wanted you to think about it now before the next meeting to see if it's something that you would be interested in. And then you can put your name in the hat for the October meeting, in which we'll all vote for the new board members, including president. So we've already approved the minutes. So I already projected the budget. So I'm going to ask the board if they're in favor of maintaining that through the end of the year. All those in favor?
I'm in favor of that decision of maintaining, just like we told everybody. Love that.
I love that too. All right, no tax increase for this part of America. Yay. So we'll hold that in place. financials will come out. Judy Hamner will provide us with financials. I can project. We are pretty healthy as a community. We're really starting to realize what our costs are going to be, as opposed to what we expected them to be. And now I lost it.
I have some numbers for the end of April.
Yeah, and you know, Judy, for our next mailing, we'll include that. But if you want to go ahead and spout off some numbers, I mean, I think for the end of last year, we ended up looking pretty good. We have $9,000 more in the bank, which is good for the community to take care of some of these costs. So Judy, let me share this. Do you want to speak to our financials, Judy?
I did print out something for the end of April, yes. I haven't done the full financial report because I needed the WeQ balances, but I'll have those out shortly.
Okay.
The checking at Key Bank total as of April 30th was $7,097.92. And the checking account at WeQ is now $11,902.06. So there's a balance with $1 each in those 4 other savings accounts of checking and savings, $19,003.98. Does that include the $9,000?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, I thought so.
That we
Okay.
got, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we were the WeCo account hadn't seen any
Input.
deposits for some time, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna
If we had all the accounts receivable, we would have a total assets of $22,673.
So our accounts receivable isn't too shabby, all considered with COVID. I think the community has held their own pretty well. And, you know, obviously there's some collection in there that we will address going forward. Let's see,
So
financials.
did you say you wanted me to send out a copy of the April?
No. Well, so I will take the April financials, and so in our mailing, Judy, I will share the QR link and the actual link to the Google Drive file where people can access. There's a bunch of documents in there. I know that we have talked about making that more accessible. We've made it electronic. I think even with the repeated mailings, a lot of people are unaware of that actual site exists. But we'll just keep driving that home and sharing that so that we can, you know, anytime you want to look at meeting minutes, the CCNRs, the bylaws, et cetera, they're all there, including our financial for the year, our monthly financials, the, what else do I put in there? I put in the, contracts. So a lease contract is in there. The snow contract was in there. The only thing I haven't added yet is the yard contract. We are, yeah, let's ask Riley to do that because I don't have it on this computer. So maybe when he comes off of his thing, he can put the QR and the link in there. If not, I'll email it to him while we wrap this up. But yeah, it's a great way to go and look. I've stripped it down to the most current stuff. There's some meeting minutes in there that I want to update and work around, but it's a work in process. Just so everybody knows, usually on the weekends, that's when I play with that stuff. I try not to, well, my day job keeps me far too busy. So I'm updating that when people request it and when time permits. So
Dean, can you put it in the chat room so they can just access it? The
Yeah,
link?
no, that Riley will have it. I don't
Oh, okay.
have it on this computer, so I can't share it with this with the laptop. But when he comes back, I'll ask him to do it because I think he does have that accessible, so we can put it in the chat.
We can mail that. I'll put that webpage address in the annual general meeting package too.
Perfect. Yeah, yeah. And the more people that know about it, you know, there are rental properties here, so some of the homeowners are probably unaware. I know there's been requests, and I have emailed that and the link out to people as they email the West Cedar Park email. So that part is without saying. Now, where is Riley? Are you here, Riley? I don't see you projecting.
It's changing a baby diaper.
Yeah, I'm back.
there it
I'm
is.
back.
Okay, do you have the, it's been asked for the QR code and or the link to the Google Drive accessible?
Mm-hmm. I
So if
hear
you
you.
could share that in the chat before the end of the meeting, I think that people would appreciate that.
Yeah.
So we're at the point where I'm gonna project. So we're gonna vote on a handy dandy cheat sheet. And there's more to come with this cheat sheet. Here, let me open this. So there's more to come with this, this little document as we go into the next meeting, so everybody's aware. And I'll try to package this in a nice little bow by the time we get to the Q&A portion so people can ask questions on it. Let me share this. And so it was said, you know, most people, their eyes glaze over when they look at bylaws and that kind of stuff. And for me, I work in compliance, so yeah, I get it. So this was brought forward a while ago. We talked about it as a board, and we thought that this would be a great thing. We will look at doing a door drop with this document, but it is a cheat sheet so everybody can see what is expected of them as I'll say a basic minimum, things to be aware of, the do's and don'ts, if you will. And so as a board, we're going to vote on adopting this as a document that will be on the website that Riley's going to share the link to, but it will also be a document that that will be there, but it'll be something that everybody should have access to for the community, and a better understanding and a very easy read compared to looking at the bylaw document. So we all looked at this as a board. And so I'm just going to ask if the board chooses to adopt. Just need a vote for approval, and we move the cheat sheet to the community forum going forward. So all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I'm in favor of it.
All right. Tara, Judy, boom.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Aye.
All right, it's all approved. So we'll share this. I really think that this document is well overdue, and so any feedback on the document, it's adopted, but any feedback going forward is appreciated. And if there's questions or concerns, we can take that as an offline conversation. The final item to vote for in this meeting is the street ceiling. So the board is looking at those crack seals. I would really, we want to get it scheduled sooner than later while the weather's cool, because they insert this rubberized compound into the cracks while the weather's cool. It expands. Yes, some of them may need to be reapplied, and we can pay for that at a later time. But it gives us the protection going into the summer and to the fall that the road underlayment really does require. And it's long overdue. I think if you look at the roads and look down the middle of the road, you'll see where those seals are going to be most beneficial, especially now that it's raining. Whoa, boy, is it raining right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we need it. We need it in a bad way. So we have the money. this will not be a budget item per se, but it will come out of the funds that the builder has provided. So with that being said, it's $32.20 for the camp bid, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Favor.
All right, so we are going to pass that. I will talk to Kemp this week, and we will get it scheduled so we can take care of that. And so let's go into the next meeting items, sort of food for thought as we move forward as a community. So we have some signage issues. I know the Quest Street sign is sitting in a window, so we know where Quest Street is. It's fallen off the post, so there's some maintenance that needs to be done. We need to look at contracting and completing that. We have the funds to do it, but speed is a problem. And there's been ideas about having one of the radar machines as you come into the neighborhood, so people are aware how fast they're actually going. We can sort of rent it and place that through the community, so you really do know that 10 miles an hour is really slow. And I think as a whole, I've talked to a couple homeowners, and people come into the community. I live right on the corner. There was a time when I just about had a leg taken off when I was working on the front yard. And it's not a good thing. We have young children here. This is a area where young homeowners come in to raise their families, and we really need to be aware of how fast we're going. So with that being said, I really want to encourage everybody to pay attention to that. We're going to do something with the signs. We're talking about a speed bump. When Kemp comes out here to do the crack seal, we'll also have him bid a speed bump on Destiny as you come into the neighborhood. So you won't be able to just fly around the corner right or left, because there's only 2 homeowners that don't have to yield to that corner. The rest of us do. I've become aware of it myself. I typically drive around the neighborhood to go to my mailbox, and I have to even check myself, because 15 miles an hour is way different than 10, and 10 is the speed limit that we should be abiding by. So this is something to be aware of. The board is likely to vote on that at our next meeting. With that being said, parking and the problem with the roads. So we did a very good job in 2 meetings ago. We talked about parking. There was some improvement with parking, and parking has sort of come and gone as far as people only parking on the east side of the street. Unless there's an easement on your property where you can park a vehicle, that is the rule we need to follow, because for emergency vehicles and for easement, people getting in and out of their driveways, parking is a problem. We do have the parking spaces at the park and at the back part of the property along that fence easement. Those are places that you can park your car. There is a walkway, literally, now it's not paved the whole way to Destiny, but there is a built-in easement through the park from the back property. And between Joe and Ralph's house, there's a strip of lawn. We can look at having that either paved or graveled so that the walkway is apparent. But those are built-in easement to the property for walkway from the front to the back of the residential area. So that being said, we are looking at maintenance. We have mailbox stands, we have the yards. We are looking at the yard contract now. We have a 90-day out, I believe, and we're looking at addressing that. Our current provider has been doing a fine job. We have a bid that is competitive and looks to be a much more attractive bid. I don't know that 90 days, and that's a conversation with that particular contractor, whether they would be interested in the end of the summer. Likely for the retention basin, we will engage that individual for bid on the retention basin when we do that cleaning, which it's a coming time for. And anyway, so that we're aware, it will be no increase in cost for the community, regardless of what we're looking at. Getting bids in this community space is difficult at best because we are so small. So that's what we're looking at. We won't have an increase. We will maintain where we're currently at, and our hopes are to improve the quality of the yards or the common space maintenance as we move into 2021 and into 2022. So that being said, that sort of wraps up the agenda. If any board members have an item that I didn't address, please speak up now. No? So at that point, I'm gonna open this up for full Q&A.
Oh, I actually did have one more thing, Dean.
Bring it on.
Hey, so we did mention last time about the light fixtures that everybody has. Liz, I know you're going to ask about this as well. But so every household does have a light fixture that is associated with them. And we noticed that a couple of them, especially on the east, west, that would be the south side. Yeah, the south side have some of those, like, they're the really cool lights. They, you know, they're the little like flame, which are awesome, but like they don't provide enough light, especially when we don't have the street lights from the trailer park on the other side. So if we could ask everybody to like, please put a light, bright, like luminescent light in there so that we can have good street lighting, that would be awesome. I think I've also talked about just going and purchasing like a Costco 24 pack of light bulbs. So if yours burns out, just come ask me or Dean and we can get one of those to you so you don't have to like deal with that, like whatever cost. But we do ask that you have a really nice light bulb in there so that we have good street lighting at night, because that also comes on to, some of you may have seen the post. I don't remember who posted it on the Facebook group, but there has been potentially some mailbox prowlers that have been coming through. So we want to make sure that everything's lit and safe for everybody in our neighborhood.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that. We have the 2 floodlights to the trailer park side on the south end. And the last time I looked, and I don't imagine that's changed, that those lights are burned out. They're really nice halide bulbs that project a lot of light, even over the fence into the neighborhood, which is great, but we can't make them replace them. And I don't think we can make them, even if we provide the bulb, say, here, put that up. But it is something that we need to look at. If your street light is not working and you've replaced the bulb, because that has been a conversation. I do know that some of the older or the original homes, I should say, their lights aren't working properly, and we want to identify who doesn't have a working light so that we can look at potentially contracting for fixing that. You're paying for the electricity. However, it's our only lighting. So as a community, we would likely, depending on cost, adjust and fix those lights so that everybody has proper lighting in front of their home. It's really important for safety. I know the post came out about the mailboxes, so please check your mail frequently. It's we don't want to become a subreddit for somebody posting that West Cedar Park is a great place to go and pillage mailboxes, because we don't have locked mailboxes as a rule. If you've added one to your own area, that's fine, but we only are providing support for the mailboxes. We're not providing the mailboxes. The builder gave us one when we moved in, so anything as far as adjusting that, you know, going forward, we just need to be aware that, and I appreciate people posting that they're seeing that kind of activity. I know I did talk to a homeowner about activity in the community that was unseemly during the later hours. So, you know, if you've got surveillance on your property and you see something, feel free to share. If you don't want to share on Facebook, reach out to one of us, and so we can at least elevate that to the community so everybody is aware.
So Dean, I have a question. If we do want to get a locked mailbox, if I went and got a locked mailbox, I don't have enough room between the one beside, like on either side of me. So do I just like move them or how is that handled?
Yeah, well, so that's a different problem, and that would be something that we'd have to look at, talk about. The people on the end that have those, there are some skinified ones that are lockable, but you know, if somebody has one that they want to install and they don't have the space, and you already have the box, then let us know and we can see what it takes to move them. I don't know. I thought about getting one myself, and I'm right in the middle. But the stands are there. It's just a matter of what is that going to cost, or what effort is it going to take to move and slide boxes down to make one fit. But you know, it's going to be a case by case. I don't think if somebody really needs one, it should be a hindrance. I'd rather us work together as a community to make these things happen. And so let's, you know, if you want to do it, Kelly, then let's talk about what that takes to get those slid down. I haven't even looked underneath the mail stands to see what it would require to move the base.
Sarah, do you know what it looks like? Because you have a lockbox. So you just have to nail it on the wooden structure thing?
I think you just go from underneath, you just drill a couple pilot holes and then the nails just go like right through. So there's like four holes that you drill into the beam and then the screws go into the box. So it's not that hard.
Like Mark said in the chat, they should be spaced evenly. That would allow for people to put a lockbox in there if they want, instead of moving them every time. So they're definitely too close together right now.
Yeah, and there's space on the stands, so maybe that is a project that we can look to undertake, but and trust me, it's not gonna, we won't be able to do it overnight. So, you know, I appreciate that, and we can certainly look at that. And this is part of the community involvement and this is why we have a Q&A portion of the program, so we can bring these things out so the board can look at them. And, you know, we of course, we're worried about the cost, but you know, as a community, if one of those stands fell down, I'm not going to go and pay for a contractor to do something that we can take care of ourselves. If it's that simple, you know, a 4x4 and some 2x4s to keep the stand up so the mail can be delivered. We're not financially in a position at this time, though maybe it will come someday where we can have the locked mailboxes. That was a conversation last year, and the cost is huge. You got to, it
was massive
concrete, and it's got to be approved boxes. It's a huge financial burden. All right, anything else people would like to talk about, bring up, share?
Regarding the mailbox prowling stuff, one of my kind of maybe two simple suggestions though to maybe help deter a little bit was looking at like the solar powered floodlight type things, like motion censored, in front of the mailbox stands. At least not all of them are lined up with a fence, but at least the ones along the south side of the neighborhood are. Would there be any objection to mounting one in front of each of the mailboxes on the fence side there?
No,
I don't see why it would be an issue. That we just have to talk about the cost. I think the like a good floodlight is around like $30 to $50 each for one that's motion detectable and stuff like that. So and we'd want to be equitable to each of them, right? So if we're doing it to one mailbox setup, we would want to do it to all. So there's something to think about.
You know, and here's the good news with that is we're moving into the longer days of the year. But I really think from the flip side of it, our days when they're short, they're very short, and that's when that kind of pillaging is a lot more prevalent. And from a safety factor, having that lit up as you go to your mailbox is certainly something that I would like that we take a look at. And I know Judy Johansson is chronicling this meeting and we're recording it, so we will definitely look at that, Caitlin.
And the only thing I'd like to say is I don't know if we have any new owners on the meeting, but I know that some new people have moved in and I'd like to welcome them. I just learned that somebody I teach with's daughter moved in the neighborhood, so small world. So I'd like to welcome anybody that's new. I don't think we have a process for knowing who's here. Hi, I teach with your mom. That's Central, so welcome. Welcome.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm Jessie, and yes, my mom teaches with you, Kelly.
She's like, is that you? Yeah, so I wish we had more of a way to welcome people that are new on board, and maybe after COVID, we can have like a barbecue or something and get to know each other. And
Sure.
Yeah, that would be
Well,
really nice.
I guess to add to
have
the
a part-
mailbox story, I installed a lock mailbox.
And one of the conversations that came up when
Oh,
you
There's-
buffered.
I think Thomas was saying something, Dean.
Yeah.
I didn't wanna interrupt you, but
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
oh, well, I installed a new mailbox for us because the other one was kind of rusting through in the bottom, and we need to have one that's locked because for our work. And it was really simple. It's just, you undrill the screws that are in the post right now, and then the one mailbox we had a base plate, and you just drill 4 screws in, and then you slide the whole mailbox on top of it. And luckily we had enough space, so it wasn't a problem. About the floodlight idea with the mailboxes, I'm all for safety, but I do kind of wonder, like, if I'm walking my dog at night, if every time I walk past a bunch of mailboxes, and I'm gonna get thrown into the.
we're gonna take your picture.
So yeah, that's just my 2 cents on that. Like, again, I'm all for safety, and I think that's good, but I don't know how extreme those floodlights would be if you're just going for a walk at night.
So we'll certainly, we won't just install them. We'll certainly make the community aware of what we're doing and the expense involved when that point in time comes. But I like the idea, and I like the engagement. I'm in compliance, so quality improvement is I live and die by that stuff. So if we can improve anything for the community and for the individual, then I'm all for it. So I was going to say that when Rory was here, which is before your folks' time, he was the original person that took over the board from the builder. And one of the discussions that we did have back then was, what would it be like to have a community barbecue at the park? And that's certainly something to look at. I know the park picnic table is getting old, and I would sure love to see a more permanent structure in there that was maybe metal or something that would stand the test of time. And the equipment itself is steel, so it's not going to rot away. But these are again items that we need to put out there and get a consensus on, and then move forward with as we move forward as a community. Anybody else have anything to add before we adjourn for the evening? Yeah, I agree. Thanks. Yeah, Kelly's right. And the sharing, I know the numbers have died off as far as a whole, but I really appreciate everybody taking the time to participate. The board members, Judy Hamner, appreciate you folks very much. You certainly make this a doable thing. So that being said, if there's nothing else, then I will ask for a vote to adjourn.
I do have one question, Dean. So when we do, because we did talk about having the vote for the budget next time.
Yeah.
What is that critical number that we need? Is it 50%? Because so like right now we have 37% of the households present, which is great. But like, how do we need a threshold, or is there?
Judy mails out the paperwork so that we can.
Oh, yeah.
Quorum. And then
Yeah,
people can, so.
Mail it back in.
And then the budget that's in the annual general meeting package is voted on by the association. And unless 51% of the owners vote against it, that budget is passed.
Got it. Okay. Thank you. That was the clarification I needed. Thank you, Judy.
Yeah, and we do want to have a quorum. We want everybody to be involved. So even if they don't participate in these little meetings, it's nice that we can share the information, and hence why I think the website is, even though it's a Google Drive.
I shared that, by the way. It's in the chat, as well as the Facebook page. If you guys are interested, that's just where, updates get put, links to this, the meetings and stuff like that. Dean and I run it currently, and it'll be passed through to whoever the next future generations of leadership is.
Yay, future generations. All right. So that being said, I vote to adjourn. Thanks for everybody for your attendance. Do I have a second?
Yep, I vote.
Second you. Third you.
So at that point, I call the meeting to a close. Thanks everybody for attending, and sign off.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Have a great day.